you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.
This is Rogers TV.
Call the meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. Those that might be joining us, there's no one joining us in the gallery today. We'll start, as we always do, with the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the lands on which we gather are situated on the unceded traditional territories of the Beothuk and Mi'kmaq nations. We also acknowledge Labrador as the traditional homelands of the Innu and Inuit. We strive to be responsible stewards of the land and commit ourselves to working in a spirit of truth and reconciliation. Therefore, the town of Gander has an inherent responsibility to foster healthier relationships with First Peoples and further the calls to action as outlined by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. We have no visitors or presentations today, so we will move right into the meat of the meeting, starting with the approval of the agenda, which is in front of us. Moved by Deputy Mayor Pollitt. Second by Councillor Hancock. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded. The agenda is approved. There is one piece of new business, of course, on the agenda already. We have one set of previous minutes from the regular meeting of council of July 15th, 2026.
I just want to say there is the error in this one. I was sorry, no, maybe I wasn't. Just
we'll get a motion to approve it, and if you find an error in it, you can let us know.
I thought it was a different date, but
move.
Okay,
moved by Councillor Woodford. Second by Councillor Lidstone. So, are there any errors or omissions? Yeah, we're okay.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Sorry, I did
all those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded. Those minutes are approved. We have any business arising from those? Thank you. By the way, the CAO is tied up in another meeting right now and will be joining us shortly, but we're in good hands with our town clerk, I think. It usually takes two of them to manage me, but I think she's good for it on her own. So we'll move right into the standing council business, starting with governance and legislative services. Deputy Mayor Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Governance and legislative services agenda started with vendor permit locations. Council reviewed correspondence from the Gander Minor Softball Association requesting that its canteen be sole food vendor at the field complex during 3 upcoming tournaments. The association advised that canteen fundraising supports operating and equipment costs and helps maintain affordable programming for local youth. Council considered the request and determined that the current arrangements will remain unchanged, noting the importance of maintaining consistent and equitable access to the field complex for permitted vendors. Next up was Highway Traffic Act and Off-Road Vehicles Act. Council reviewed correspondence from the Department of Municipal and Community Affairs requesting information regarding the town's delegated authority and regulations under Section 189 of the Highway Traffic Act and subsection 15(1) of the Off-Road Vehicles Act. The request included confirmation of applicable ministerial orders and municipal regulations, whether ministerial approval was required for regulations under the Off-Road Vehicles Act, and information respecting enforcement. Council discussed the town's current regulatory and enforcement arrangements, and administration, in consultation with the town's legal team, will prepare a response to the department. Next up is the appointment of MEO coordinator. The committee discussed the appointment of Ryan Preston as the town's municipal bylaw enforcement coordinator. in accordance with Section 278 of the Towns and Local Service Districts Act, council may appoint bylaw enforcement officers to support the administration and enforcement of the town's bylaws. The committee recommended that Ryan Preston be appointed as bylaw enforcement officer and designated as the municipal bylaw enforcement coordinator for the town of Gander. The committee recommends, and I move, that pursuant to Section 278 of the Towns and Local Service Districts Act, the council appoint Ryan Preston as bylaw enforcement officer for the town of Gander and designate him as the municipal bylaw enforcement coordinator with authority to administer and enforce the town's bylaws in accordance with applicable legislation, bylaws, policies, and delegated authority.
Second. Moved by Deputy Mayor Pollitt, seconded by Councillor Hancock, that pursuant to Section 278 of the Towns and Local Service Districts Act, council appoint Ryan Preston as a bylaw enforcement officer for the town of Gander and designate him as the municipal bylaw enforcement coordinator with authority to administer and enforce the town's bylaws in accordance with applicable legislation, bylaws, policies, and delegated authority. Is there any discussion?
Question. When is this effective?
Good question.
I thought it was the 17th of August.
There would be an effective date, or
I would hope.
should be an effective date.
So the process has finished up and it has been offered based on this appointment. The individual is expected to start on Monday,
Okay.
so I would probably have it for Monday's date.
Yeah, I guess it would be authorized effective the approval of this motion.
That's the authorization
But
period.
then the actual commencement date is Monday, is it?
It's Monday.
Yeah.
Okay, that's,
Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Carried.
Next up was the municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador items. Council discussed several municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador, or M&L matters, including attendance at upcoming M&L events and the central director position. Council also discussed the upcoming M&L resolutions process, recognizing it as an important opportunity for municipalities to advance shared priorities, strengthen collective advocacy, and seek support on issues affecting communities throughout Newfoundland and Labrador. Potential resolutions were considered with a focus on reflecting local priorities while also supporting broader municipal interests and advocacy on behalf of the town of Gander. And next up is Municipal Assessment Agency correspondence. Council reviewed the Municipal Assessment Agency Board update, including recent board activities, 2027 valuation results, municipal engagement initiatives, and ongoing assessment and aerial imagery work. Council also noted the upcoming municipalities or Municipal Assessment Agency Board meeting scheduled for September 18th, 2026 in Gander. And that is it for me, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Next up is the Planning and Public Works, and that portion of the report will be presented by Councillor West.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So first up, we have the 2026 Spring Cleanup Report. So council received an update on the town's 2026 Spring Cleanup Program. It was completed from May the 4th to the 15th, and approximately 608 tons of material were collected. This included construction and demolition waste, metal products, and tree branches. The total program costs were approximately $178,195, representing an increase over 2025 due mainly to higher waste volumes, equipment rentals, disposal containers, and a labor cost. It was noted that the program continues to be well utilized and remains an important municipal service. It is anticipated that the proposed automation of the waste transfer station may encourage greater year-round use, so helpfully will reduce curbside volumes and the resources required for future cleanups in the program.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor, on that. Our costs went up considerably, and in her report, Councillor West indicated there were a lot of, including construction and demolition waste. That's concerning. I didn't think that that was the intent of our residential cleanup, was to take construction waste. I thought that contractors are encouraged, if not obliged, to take their construction waste to a disposal area themselves, not burden the taxpayers of Gander with that.
Yeah, I think that is the case. I'm not sure now, not all of this would be
No,
contractors, obviously. This could be.
Obviously, it's not
you-
all
You or
tribute.
I might be doing a renovation and throwing in
But
some old stuff, old tubs or
it's a
whatever,
little
right?
concerning
Yeah.
that we have to mention that. I don't know if, there might have been none.
I think it's use of Central Newfoundland Waste Management terminology of C&D waste, which is
Yeah,
basically
just the nature of
any
the type of
6214
stuff.
Oh, okay.
or anything. I don't necessarily think it's, tear down a shed, throw it out by your side and expect it to.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that was my concern, someone building a
I think it's
home.
based on their C&D terminology.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's a descriptive term for the type of waste, right? But I don't know if you would add anything to that, like, do we think we are getting some of this, the type of waste that?
I think there are definitely occurrences where there's construction, which is not the intent to Councillor Woodford's comments, but for the most part, it could be a resident taking apart a patio or a small shed or a fence that would be classified and fall under the C&D. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, also, the next item of business, I'm going to declare a conflict at this point in time.
Okay.
As my brother owns an electric company,
Yeah.
so I will excuse myself.
And on that note, I am also in conflict because the home-based business is my partner's.
Yeah. So, I think that's legit. So I'd ask Councillor Lidstone, maybe if you can just take, once they've left the room, Councillor Lidstone can take that item.
So the item being referenced is a home-based business at 82 Rousel Boulevard. The committee reviewed an application from MG Electrical to operate a home office from 82 Rousel Boulevard. A home occupation is listed as a discretionary use within the applicable zone, and the application was advertised in accordance with the town's development regulations, with no objections received. The committee recommends, and I move, that the application from MG Electrical to operate a home office from 82 Rousel Boulevard be approved as a discretionary use, subject to the Town of Gander development regulations and any conditions outlined in the permit.
Moved by Councillor Lidstone, seconded by Councillor Hancock, that the application from MG Electrical to operate a home office from 82 Rousel Boulevard be approved as a discretionary use, subject to the Town of Gander development regulations and any conditions outlined in the permit. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Carried. And I think with that, we can let our two banished councillors back in. So you can pick up at item C
Thank
there
you.
now, Councillor West.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just gotta get back in here now. My screen went out. All right, let's see. All right, so next up will be Public Works Departmental Report. So between July 4th and 27th, 2026, the Public Works crew continues seasonal maintenance and service activities throughout the community. During the reporting period, crews completed 26 pothole repair deployments, addressing numerous roadway defects on the municipal streets and helping to maintain the safe driving conditions around town. The Water and Sewer Division responded to 33 calls of service and completed one main line repair on municipal water and sewer infrastructure, helping to ensure the continued reliability of essential services for residents and business. Next up is going to be the Planning Departmental Report. The committee reviewed the Planning Department report for the period of July 4th to the 27th, 2026, outlining applications received, permits issued, zoning compliance activity, and ongoing development within the community. During the reporting period, 32 residential applications were received, 29 building permits were issued, and 3 occupancy permits were issued. Next on our items is the Call to Recycle Battery Recycling Program. The committee reviewed correspondence from the Central Newfoundland Waste Management inviting municipalities to participate in a battery recycling program, and it's aimed at reducing the hazardous materials entering the regional landfill. Under the program, participating municipalities will be provided with a battery collection box to be placed in a highly visible and publicly accessible location, such as the town hall, a municipal office, or a community center. Residents will be able to use the collection box to safely dispose of dry cell household batteries, including both single-use and rechargeable batteries. The committee discussed the environmental benefits of the program and its potential to provide residents with a convenient and responsible battery disposal option. Staff will follow up with the program coordinator and to confirm council's willingness to participate and to make the necessary arrangements for delivery and placement of these collection boxes. Next, we have a variance request for 113 Memorial Drive. The committee reviewed an application to construct a garage at 113 Memorial Drive with a proposed height of 6.05 meters. The property is located within a residential medium-density zone where the maximum permitted height for the accessory building is 5.5 meters. The committee noted that council may, at its discretion, grant variances of up to 10% of the prescribed requirement. The application was advertised in accordance with the town's development regulations, with no objections being received by the advertised deadline. The committee recommends, and I move, that the application to construct a garage at 113 Memorial Drive with a height of 6.05 meters be approved, subject to all conditions outlined in the permit.
Moved by Councillor West, seconded by who seconded it? It's seconded by Councillor Abbott. That the application to construct a garage at 113 Memorial Drive with a height of 6.05 meters be approved, subject to all conditions outlined in permit. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Carried.
Next is another variance request. This one is for 11 Lacey Place. The committee reviewed an application to construct a garage at 11 Lacey Place with a proposed height of 6.05 meters. The property is located within a residential medium-density zone with the maximum permitted height for an accessory building being 5.5 meters. The committee noted that council may, and at its discretion, grant variances up to 10% of the prescribed requirements. The application was advertised in accordance with the town's development regulations, with no objections received by the advertised deadline. The committee reviewed a second request from the property owner to construct an accessory building that would exceed the maximum permitted 8% accessory building lot coverage. So following discussion, the committee was not prepared to approve the variance of the current developmental regulations, therefore does not approve this request. The committee recommends, and I move, that the application to construct a garage at 11 Lacey Place with a height of 6.05 meters be approved, subject to all conditions outlined in the permit.
Moved by Councillor West, seconded by Deputy Mayor Pollitt, that the application to construct a garage at 11 Lacey Place with a height of 6.05 meters be approved, subject to all conditions outlined in the permit.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Two notes on that. In the second part here, is the committee reviewed the request for the property owner to construct the building with over the maximum permitted 8%. One note there is that it says the committee was not prepared to approve a variance, but I believe we were not able to, we don't have the authority to approve a variance in that case. I think the regulation we said before, as previously, we said 8% is all is allowed. There's no discretionary, we don't have any discretionary authority there, I
Yes, I
don't
think
think.
that, is that correct?
I would look to the director on that.
Yeah, he's just getting to the rationale behind, it's not so much that we wouldn't do the, I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's
Your
not so much that we
understanding is
wouldn't
that-
approve a variance.
It's not that we wouldn't approve the
We don't have
variance,
the
it's that
authority to.
We don't have the authority to go to the level, to what they want, is that the case there?
Current policy.
The current
Do
policy
we have the
is as a
same
maximum
10%?
8%.
So we have discussed and will be communicated to the applicant that we are in the process of reviewing our development regulations.
Yeah.
And I think council's given us some guidelines in terms of increasing the maximum allowable size. It's not permitted at this time,
Yeah.
but that will be communicated to the applicant that if they prefer to wait until we can get that approved, then, it's a pretty big investment. They may choose to wait, and we may be able to accommodate their requests at that time.
I guess my only question was on the wording, saying that we are not approved, council is not approving a variance. It's not that we're not approving, it's just that the bylaws right now say it can only be 8% and there's no discretion.
Yeah, I think it's just in the way it's presented here, it sounds like, I understand what Councilor Liston is saying, that it's not so much that council is not approving a variance, it's that we are not authorized to approve the request. And unless the change is made to our regulations, right?
That's how I would interpret it,
Yeah.
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 And the other question I had then was that there's a motion to approve the construction, but it's only for the height, like we're not approving that he can make it larger, just the height restriction.
Yes,
I just wanted to be clear because, okay.
that's the only part that's approved in motion. And as the director said, now maybe, because the height is it probably needed a height proportionate to the size of the building, which, may not be,
May not
may
work anyway.
want both or none, right? But anyway, as long as that's communicated to the applicant, that if they wait, there's a good chance they would be able to do what they're asking, but if not, they can just build it taller but not bigger.
Okay.
Okay. Have we voted on that? No.
No.
All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Carried.
Excuse me. Next is the HAF applications for funding requests. The committee reviewed 2 applications submitted under the town's Housing Accelerator Fund HAF incentive program, which provides financial incentives to support the development of new residential units that meet the established eligible criteria, including affordability, energy efficiency, and design standards. Administration advised that all applications as presented satisfy the program's requirements and are eligible for the funding consideration. The committee recommends, and I move, that the application for 35 to 37 Waterton Street be approved for funding of up to $20,474.08 under the Housing Accelerator Fund HAF Incentive Program, subject to the applicant fulfilling all program requirements and obligations.
Moved by Councillor West, second by Deputy Mayor Pollitt, that the application for 35 to 37 Waterton Street be approved for funding up to $20,474.08 under the Housing Accelerator Fund Incentive Program, subject to the applicant fulfilling all program requirements and obligations. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Carried.
Thank you. And further to that, the committee recommends, and I move, that the application for 3 Corrigan Street be approved for funding of up to $13,150 under the Housing Accelerator Fund HAF Incentive Program, subject to the applicant fulfilling all program requirements and obligations.
Moved by Councillor West, second by Councillor Lidstone, that the application for 3 Corrigan Street be approved for funding of up to $13,150 under the Housing Accelerator Fund Incentive Program, subject to the applicant fulfilling all program requirements and obligations. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Carried. Maybe that's 2, we've had, as everyone would know, we've done a few of these over the last number of meetings, we've approved a few of those. That's obviously part of the our distribution of the federal funding we received under the Housing Accelerator Fund, and that distribution is subject to the achievement, or is the purpose of it is the achievement of certain objectives in certain types of housing with various components of the program. And I think we're at a juncture now, and I'd ask the CAO if he can speak to that. I think we're at a juncture now where that element of the incentive program may be nearing an end because we're near the, we're reaching the objective in the number of units and the amount of money distributed under that piece of it. But I defer to the CAO.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So the targets of the Housing Accelerator Fund was to incentivize certain types of developments, of which there were a total of 200 housing starts, 68 multi-unit apartment building style, and 70 missing middle. So most of the incentives that we've done up to this point have been in the category of the missing middle, which is basement apartments, granny flats, different styles of small scale apartment. We've met or are nearing the completion of the targets for the missing middle. We're still striving to achieve the outcomes for the apartment style. We're currently out to a request for proposals for specifically for apartment style, multi-unit density type housing, which closes on Friday. So at this point, this is the end of the applications that we've received for the missing middle, and we'll be closing that portion of the incentive program and I guess reserving the funds we have to incentivize the remaining targets, which is primarily apartment style buildings. So just a little bit of a caution that
So some of our units, this might be the part that's closed, would be rent controlled units, like reduced rent?
No, so overall.
Affordability is a factor in a number of those categories.
So the program set a target of 35% of the 200 units to be affordable. So that's been a variation of different components throughout this. So again, that's one of the targets we hope to meet with the remaining funds as well. So.
But I think the reason I asked CAO to do that is that it's good for the public to understand too, that like, the program, people are becoming aware of the program, people are making plans to do apartments, perhaps, anticipating applying under this program. And the reality is now that we've kind of reached our limit as to how many we can approve under that program. So before anybody goes out and pays someone for building plans or hires contractors or starts while they're applying, they need to understand that they're not going to be able to apply under this section of the program, but the other sections are still available, right?
Thank you. So the next is going to be an update. It's an update to a home-based business license. So council's received an application from Daylight Energy Solutions to amend its existing home-based business approval at 192 Elizabeth Drive. The proposed amendment includes a change in the business name from Daylight Energy Solutions to Daylight Energy Solutions to Daylight, and add the addition of Daylight Digital Media, providing photography and digital media services as a part of the business operations. It is noted that the home occupation is permitted as discretionary use within the zone in which its property is located. The application was advertised in accordance with the town's development regulations, and one objection was received, citing concerns regarding potential increase in traffic associated with the proposed activity. The application indicates that no customer visits or material deliveries will occur on the property. As such, the proposed amendment is not expected to generate an additional traffic or adversely impact the surrounding neighborhood. The committee recommends, and I move, that the application from Daylight Energy Solutions to amend its its approved home-based business by changing the business name to Daylight and adding photography and digital media services at 192 Elizabeth Drive be approved.
Moved by Councillor West, seconded by Councillor Abbott, that the application from Daylight Energy Solutions to amend its approved home-based business by changing the business name to Daylight and adding photography and digital media services at 192 Elizabeth Drive be approved. Is there any discussion?
Just a question, it's already daylight, but we're adding daylight.
But I guess the
I-
energy
I'm-
solutions,
Changing it. I was
the
wondering
energy solutions
too.
part is being dropped.
I'm totally confused with the name.
Well-
Is it called Daylight Digital Media? Okay, that's all I want.
What's it called?
Well, it's daylight photography and digital media services.
Oh, that is very confusing, yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
thought they
was
were
hard
just
to read
dropping
too.
the energy solutions and the company's called Daylight. But that's not it. That we're swapping out,
I think they're adding the services, the digital media and the photography services to the energy solutions line of the business. I'm looking at the director to confirm that.
Yeah, the interpretation from the application, the way I read it, is that they're adding a company, Daylight, and under Daylight is going to be two companies, Daylight Energy Solution and Daylight Digital Media, under one parent company, two little divisions, sort of.
Okay.
That was what I read as well. The
Yeah.
company name is now Daylight, two divisions, the
Yeah.
energy and the photography.
okay. So,
Okay, that's
so
not
what
bad.
we're approving is as requested in the application, so that detail should be, it should be clear to everybody once we communicate it. It should be clear what we've approved.
There's mud.
By the way, speaking of daylight, I don't know if anybody was aware, or I'm sure some of you are, that today there was a solar eclipse. I did not notice it because it wouldn't be any different from the solar eclipse that we've had ever since our supposed summer started. So, but apparently there was an actual solar eclipse today. It wasn't total solar eclipse over us. What?
So they say.
So they say. We wouldn't know because it was no different than any other day of summer. Anyway, I digress. Do we vote on this?
We didn't. Does it need to be,
Okay.
do we need to read it again?
Okay, so all those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Carried.
All right, I apologize for all that. Okay, so next is going, well, sorry?
Yeah, so this next item excuse myself, I have no relationship to this business or the individual, it's just that it is a profession that is adjacent to my spouse's profession, so just for the,
There could be a perception of bias.
ensure that that I'm not biased to this discussion, I'm just gonna leave it for the moment.
Yeah.
All right, moving on in our agenda is 7 Tully Place, a home-based business. The committee reviewed correspondence from the applicant regarding council's decision not to approve the proposed home-based business application for acupuncture services at 7 Tully Place. The applicant expressed disappointment with council's decision and requested an opportunity to meet with council in person to discuss the matter further. The correspondence outlined the applicant's professional background and stated that the approval of the home-based business is important to our ability to provide acupuncture and wellness services within the community. I am not sure if I read that completely right. Can somebody confirm?
I think so.
The correspondence, like, professional background, state approval of,
Yep.
okay. Council discussed the request and agreed to arrange a meeting with the applicant to provide an opportunity for further discussion regarding the application and council's decision.
So is there going to be any discussion around this? If not, we can invite CAO back in the room.
Invite him back in?
Yeah.
Welcome back. Next up is going to be the development application for 271 McGee Road. The committee reviewed a development application for the property located at 271 McGee Road respecting a proposal to establish transitional housing for individuals recovering from addictions and mental health challenges. Staff advised that the proposed use has been evaluated under the Town of Gander development regulations and is most appropriately classified as a residential care home. The subject property is located within the residential rural zone, where the use is considered a discretionary use. The committee concurred with the staff's interpretation of the proposed use of clarification and zoning applicability and recommended that council classify the proposed development as a residential care home within the residential rural zone and direct staff to proceed with required discretionary use notice process in accordance with the Town of Gander's development regulations. Following completion of the discretionary notice process, the applicant will be brought back to council for review and consideration of the proposed development. Next is the development application for 220 Barrett Place. The committee reviewed an application submitted by the property owner of 220 Barrett Place requesting approval to subdivide a portion of the existing property and initiate a rezoning process for the newly created parcel. The proposed subdivision will create a parcel of approximately 2,612.6 meters squared to facilitate the future development of rental offices, commercial buildings. The subject lands are currently zoned as industrial general, and the applicant has requested that the proposed subdivision parcel be rezoned to commercial general to accommodate the intended development. The proposed subdivision and rezoning area is illustrated on drawing number 26-1044. Therefore, the committee recommends and I move that the Planning and Public Works Department be given the permission to proceed with the amended process to the Town of Gander Municipal Plan and Development Regulations to rezone a portion of 220 Barrett Place as more particularly described on drawing number 26-1044 from industrial general to commercial general. It is council's intention to rezone the subject lands to facilitate the development of commercial rental offices and buildings on the proposed subdivided parcels.
Moved by Councillor West, second by Councillor Hancock, that the Planning and Public Works Department be given permission to proceed with an amendment process to the Town of Gander Municipal Plan and Development Regulations to rezone a portion of 220 Baird Place as more particularly described on drawing number 26-1044 from industrial general to commercial general. It is council's intention to rezone the subject lands to facilitate the development of commercial rental office buildings on the proposed subdivided parcel. Any discussion?
Is there commercial office buildings on that land now? Or is that just vacant property that's a?
No, that's right there next to the Gander, the new medical facility. So it's currently being operated, the full property is being operated under an industrial use. But this proposal in parts is to subdivide and use the portion closest to where the medical facility is, the family care team building is, for this use.
The concern I have is the amount of industrial land we have and the amount of commercial land we have. It's
not a new sale, it's existing.
Yeah, it's existing, but.
It's a subdivision of an existing property, right?
And it's right on the boundary of the two zones, so basically it does.
Push the boundary back.
Pushing one zone, it's not a parcel right in the middle of the zone, it's extending.
Yeah, as long as we're,
Yeah, and I think
I had the same question during the committee meeting.
At the end of the day, the aesthetics of that area would be better.
Well, there's no question especially if it's on the boundary. If it's inside further.
No, it's right on the boundary.
No, it doesn't work for me, but on the boundary, I'm fine with.
Okay, any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded, carried.
Next is, sorry,
Sorry.
that's fine.
There was one piece that came from committee that didn't get carried over, unless I missed it there. There's also an enabling motion required for the subdivision.
It's coming up.
Oh, it's coming up, sorry.
The next item is,
Okay.
it's just broken into two motions.
Okay, my
Oh,
apologies.
okay. No,
Yeah.
I did start, I did.
I think that's
skip-
what you were
I was gonna
referring
skip it. Thank you. Okay, so, the committee recommends and I move that council approve in principle the subdivision of the portion of 220 Barrett Place as shown on drawing number 26-1044, subject to completion of rezoning process. The submission of the final survey prepared by a Newfoundland and Labrador land surveyor and compliance with all applicable municipal requirements and conditions of approval.
Second.
Moved by Councillor West, seconded by Councillor Pollitt, that council approve in principle the subdivision of a portion of 220 Baird Place as shown on drawing number 26-1044, subject to completion of the rezoning process, the submission of the final survey prepared by a Newfoundland and Labrador land surveyor, and compliance with all applicable municipal requirements and conditions of approval. That's what you were looking for, wasn't it?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded, carried.
Okay, the last item on my portion of this agenda is a property concern, and it's an update. So, for 12 Quimby Place. The committee reviewed correspondence from residents of 12 Quimby Place regarding concerns associated with activities occurring on a neighboring property, including the driveway encroachment, drainage, snow clearing practices, property maintenance matters, and the storage and movement of vehicles and equipment. The residents have requested that the town review the situation and determine whether any provisions of the town's regulations have been contravened. Council acknowledged the concerns raised and directed staff to undertake a review of the matters identified in the correspondence, including any applicable regulatory or enforcement considerations. Staff will investigate the concerns and prepare a recommendation for council's consideration at a future meeting. And that is the end of my reports.
Thank you, Councillor West. We'll move right into a community services report, and that'll be presented by Councillor Woodford.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll start off with some upcoming events. Following events will be taking place in the coming month. August the 12th, concert at Cobb's Pond Rotary Park, 6:30 to 8, featuring Mike Acoin. That's 6:30 to 8 p.m., not in the morning. Don't go early. August 15th, Gander Revolution hosting the Under-9 Jamboree. That's at the soccer field. August 17th to September 2nd, Impact Summer Hockey Camp. August 19th, concert at Cobb's Pond Rotary Park from 6:30 to 8 p.m. featuring Bobby Baker. August 21st to 23rd, minor softball hosting the Under-15 Provincial Slow Pitch Softball Tournament. August 22nd, Gander Revolution hosting the Under-7 Jamboree. August 26th, concert at Cobb's Pond, 6:30 to 8 p.m. featuring Crossroads. August the 28th, the Newfoundland Regiment versus the Saginaw Spirit at 7 p.m. at the Steele Community Center. Tickets are on sale now through Show Pass, and from what I understand, there's only about, 350 or so tickets, or 850? There's not many left anyway.
Yeah, I think it's 300.
350, I think, is what's left. So if you're interested in attending that game,
Maybe around 400 left. It's directed.
okay, so anyway, 400, 350. If you're interested in going, there's no time like now to get your tickets at Show Pass. August 28th to 30th, Baseball Gander hosting Provincial Under-11 Tier 1 Baseball Tournament. So we're going to be quite busy for the next, well, these are all in August. For the next 2 weeks, folks, this town is going to be alive. Anyway, next item of business, the RCMP Musical Ride. Council has been advised that the RCMP Musical Ride will not tour Newfoundland in 2027, as the required number of host communities could not be secured. The town's hosting requests will remain on file for future consideration, with a possible return to Newfoundland in 2031. Trail and playground requests. Council has reviewed 2 residential requests concerning trail maintenance near Mollison Crescent and fencing at the Rousel Boulevard Playground. Management recommended issuing a request for proposals to 3 qualified bidders for a parks, playground, and open space study. Required maintenance near Mollison Crescent will be completed by town crews with further review following completion of the study. Any major upgrades, including fencing at the Rousel Boulevard Playground, will be reviewed by management and cost estimates prepared. Next item, the Tourism Advisory Committee terms of reference. Council reviewed the proposed Tourism Advisory Committee terms of reference, including the committee's proposed mandate, membership, responsibilities, meeting requirements, and reporting structure. Council has agreed with the terms of reference as presented. Therefore, the committee recommends, and I move, that Council approve the terms of reference for the Tourism Advisory Committee as attached.
Moved by Councillor Woodford, seconded by Deputy Mayor Pollitt, that Council approve the terms of reference for the Tourism Advisory Committee as attached. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Carried.
Next item of business, Council
I
has.
think the CEO wanted to say something around that.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to say the attachment is very much a draft document, so
Yes.
there may be some formatting and what have you, but in terms of the content and the structure of the committee, I think is what council's proving. There will likely be some formatting in terms of what that document will actually be before it's finalized. Okay. That's it.
Sure. Hate to move on, have to come back. Anyway, next item of business, council reviewed the draft Community Partnerships Revenue Sharing Agreement policy. This policy establishes a framework for community organizations undertaking approved fundraising activities within town facilities, including revenue sharing, financial accountability, and council oversight. The policy was presented for the first reading. Therefore, the committee recommends, and I move, that council approve the first reading of the Community Partnerships Revenue Sharing Agreement policy as attached.
Moved by Councillor Woodford, seconded by Councillor Abbott, that council approve first reading of the Community Partnerships Revenue Sharing Agreement policy as attached. Any questions? All those in favor? Oh, sorry, just a couple questions. I think Councillor Hancock here.
It's a little misleading. So where it says undertaking approved fundraising activities within town facilities, including revenue sharing, we're not talking about, organizations doing fundraising and we taking part of their money. This is for things like putting up signage in the Steel Community Center.
Advertising sign.
Advertising. So like using our facility to put up advertising, the town takes a percentage of it and that group takes a percentage of it. So like, I don't like the wording in this one.
Yeah, me neither. That's what I was going to comment on.
Yeah.
That's in the preamble, but in the motion itself, like it's the, because what we're doing is tabling the agreement policy.
Yeah,
That
but
we-
just on the
but-
surface itself, it's
Yeah.
it's not entirely accurate, the intent of
Clear.
what we're doing here.
Yeah, it's not clear.
Clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the intent is, we all know the intent, but
Yeah.
the
But for the
clarity of the
general
word.
public, they're gonna read this and go, okay, so if I'm
Someone wants to
selling-
have a fudge sale at our
Yeah.
building, we want to share the money or
Yeah,
something,
no,
right?
it's nothing
But
like
Yeah.
that.
that's why we do two readings, I think, is this
Yeah.
being the first reading, it gives us and the public an opportunity to review it, make notes, come back to us before the second reading. If we have to change the title of it or any of the context within it, we have that opportunity before we go to second reading. And if that,
Well, for those who are gonna get,
absolutely.
upset by, if they don't read
Yeah,
and just as looking at it as.
No, 100%.
yeah.
That
It's a little
clarity point
misleading.
is very well brought up, and
Yeah.
I think maybe we should just look at maybe a new name change in there.
Yeah, so I think that's a good point to have under consideration now that it's up there for first reading, to make sure the wording accurately reflects, so it doesn't create any confusion. But it's good to bring it up now, because someone listening right now might think that, if you're gonna have an event that raises funds for something in one of our facilities, that the town wants to get a piece of the revenue from it, and it's not that, it's.
So we're not taking.
It's more, it's
we're not taking the
almost
profits from the
exclusively,
kids
but
selling
more
hamburgers.
specifically to, the rental agreements for signage within the facility.
Yeah.
And sharing the revenue, if the group enters into the sells the advertising, in the town facility. The town gets a share of the revenue from it, but.
Mr. Mayor, just further to everybody's points, a lot of these questions were brought up in the committee meeting.
Yeah.
And I think it was agreed that we were going to present it for first reading, knowing that we all had some questions, and I read this through again before today's meeting, and there's definitely some questions, some things that need to be worded accurately, and to everybody's points, I think we'll have a good thorough discussion at probably our next committee meeting before it comes for second reading.
Yeah. And if anybody's out there, in the public has concerns about what we're looking at, from some of the organizations particularly, well, they can always reach out and just get clarity of what exactly does this mean, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we'll make sure it's worded clearly in the final version. Thank you. Do we vote?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's
I
reminded?
thought we voted on
Carried.
this, Mr. Mayor. I thought the question came in after the,
No.
that was
No,
one
we
before
were just
that.
about to when I think, Deputy Mayor, you wanted to say something too, but it was the same question, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move on.
We've been sitting together too long. Starting to think about it.
Athletic field drop-off entrance gate. Council reviewed correspondence from several groups regarding gate access to the lower portion of the athletics field. And for clarity, that's the field that's down by the new soccer field. Council agreed that a gate will be installed in this area with the work to start in the fall. And next item was the 2026 Festival of Flight. Council recognized the 40th anniversary of the Festival of Flight, which was held July 30th through August the 3rd, 2026, as an important celebration of Gander's aviation heritage and community spirit. The 5-day festival brought residents and visitors together through a wide range of family, cultural, and entertainment events. Council has expressed sincere appreciation to the town staff, community organizers, volunteers, as well as sponsors, whose dedication, partnership, and support contributed to the success of the festival and reflected the strong sense of community that continues to define Gander. And Mr. Mayor, I think this is the very first Festival of Flight that I haven't been to in about 40 years. And
There seemed to be something really
there
special.
was
about
something missing. There was something really missing. And although I wasn't in the country, I must say, I did stay
The
in
spirit
touch
was
with a
here.
lot of people. And from all the reports I got back, it was a tremendous success.
Yeah.
So as the preamble suggests, to Jerry Nee over there behind you and his staff, my hat goes off to you, as well as the staff of Public Works, who I'm sure contributed greatly as well. So,
Yeah.
thank you, and with that,
Kudos.
I yield back to you.
Thank you.
And I would recognize staff throughout the organization. I guess it is a true organizational event.
Oh, absolutely.
From all corners of the organization, in terms of, the support staff who handle the cash and the money, to the operations and support. So it is a true organizational effort from top to bottom, but no doubt, the community services staff that, are put in a huge effort throughout that event, so.
Right down to the people who
Yeah.
sold the buttons.
To add on to that, our local organizations who take part in running events on our behalf, I'd like to thank you guys too, for participating in the Festival of Flight. And we can't do anything, like these things without you, so appreciate it.
Good catch.
Yeah. And that's reference, the volunteers and the organizations. And
Yeah.
takes everybody, and sponsors, takes everybody, right? But good event. You missed a good festival.
I've been talking to a lot of people, and they told me.
Thank you.
They
Okay.
enjoyed it without me, though.
Yes, managed to get through it. Next up is corporate services, and that'll be presented by Councillor Abbott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, we have group insurance interest charges. The committee reviewed a request to adjust interest charges that had accrued on outstanding group insurance premiums for an employee who was on unpaid leave of absence. Following discussion, council agreed to write off the interest charges. Council also directed that employees on unpaid leave who are required to reimburse the town for group insurance premiums must arrange payment before being invoiced in order to maintain enrollment in the town of Gander's group insurance plan. The committee recommends and I move that current interest charges on outstanding group insurance premiums owed to the town by active employees be written off.
Second.
Moved by Councillor Abbott, second by Deputy Mayor Pollitt, that current interest charges on outstanding group insurance premiums owed to the town by active employees be written off. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Carried.
2026 street resurfacing. The committee reviewed the proposed 2026 sectional street paving program, first presented at the council meeting on June 17th, 2026. The program includes sections of Bennett Drive and Penwell Avenue between Payette Street and Russell Street. The item was presented to approve funding the 2026 sectional paving program through the Build Community Strong Fund community stream. It's a lot of words. This BCSFCS. The estimated project cost exceeds the approved budget by $82,089.37. However, sufficient BCSFCS funding remains available to fully cover the project. The committee recommends and I move that council approve the capital investment application for the 2026 street resurfacing project utilizing the Build Community Strong Fund community stream funding as attached.
Moved by Councillor Abbott, seconded by Councillor Lidstone, that council approve the capital investment application for the 2026 street resurfacing project utilizing the Building Community Strong Fund community stream funding as attached.
I have a question, not about the financing part of it, but the start date for this, we're getting late in the year now. This is late. Are we gonna get this done this year, or is this gonna be something that's gonna be deferred till next year?
I don't know, maybe the director can chime in on that, what the timing looks like for what we got planned?
Sure. Although it's a pretty big expense, it's not a big piece of work. There's no underground work, and most contractors that would bid that work, it's probably 2 or 3 days work. So we're quite confident that we'll get it out to tender and closed and work completed within the paving season.
Okay. Okay, so have we voted? No.
No.
All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Carried.
Okay, moving on to the property tax reduction. The committee reviewed one application for residential property tax reduction submitted in accordance with the income-based criteria outlined in the schedule of rates and fees. The application was found to meet council's established eligibility requirements. Including these applications, a total of 27 residential property tax reductions have been approved to date, amounting to $21,378.21 in reductions. The committee recommends and I move that one application for residential property tax reduction totaling $502.41 be approved as attached.
Second.
Moved by Councillor Abbott, seconded by Deputy Mayor Pollitt, that one application for residential property tax reduction totaling $502.41 be approved as attached. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Carried.
Okay, last but not least for me, heavy vehicles to be tendered. Council was advised that 3 heavy vehicles are no longer required for municipal operations and will be disposed of through the town's advertised public tender process. The vehicles include a 2014 Aquatech sewer jet with a minimum bid of $80,000, a 1974 Volvo pumper truck with no minimum bid, and a 2005 5-ton dump truck with a minimum bid of $15,000. Tender requirements and viewing opportunities will be outlined in the tender documents. And that's...
Every time you get a fire truck for $18.
And that's all for me, Mr. Mayor.
Next up is Public Safety and Protective Services, and that part of the report will be presented by Councillor Hancock.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
If
Even buy that fire truck.
we can get his mind away from buying a fire truck.
I like fire trucks. First item for Public Safety and Protective Services is the Newfoundland Labrador Association Fire Services Convention. Council noted that Gander will host the 2026 Fire Services Convention from September 25th to 27th, welcoming hundreds of firefighters from across the province for training, professional development, and networking. Council expressed pride in hosting this important event and recognized the opportunity to strengthen relationships with the fire services community, promote knowledge sharing, and encourage continued interest in volunteer firefighting. Next item, July statistics. Council reviewed the July update from Gander Fire Rescue and Municipal Enforcement, highlighting their continued commitment to public safety and community services. Gander Fire Rescue responded to 18 calls for service compared to 36 in July of 2025, with fewer unauthorized burning incidents contributing to the decrease. That's because this year we're allowed to actually have fires compared to last year, I guess. Fire Rescue also supported the Run the Rock initiative in support of Make-A-Wish Canada, reflecting the department's broader involvement in community and charitable initiatives. Municipal Enforcement responded to 63 resident concerns and issued 30 traffic citations, continuing its work to promote safety and compliance. And Mr. Mayor, my last item is Howe Street pole line update. Council was advised of an issue involving a tent and accumulated garbage on the pole line at the end of Howe Street. The matter was reviewed by the RCMP and Newfoundland and Labrador Housing, with no immediate safety concerns identified, and confirmation that the tent was not being used as a residence. Town crews attended the site on July 30th, 2026, removed the tent, and completed a cleanup of the area. And Mr. Mayor, I yield back to you.
Thank you, Councillor Hancock. The final section of the regular report is the Communications, Engagement and Strategy section, and that'll be presented by Councillor Lidstone.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first item up is regarding the town logo and a request for permission to reproduce. The committee discussed a request from a local vendor wishing to license the town of Gander's corporate logo for use on stickers for resale. The committee appreciates the interest in featuring and promoting Gander. However, it was agreed that at this time, the town is not interested in licensing its corporate logo. And just to add to that, I think we discussed in the committee meeting that we actually produce that logo as well as other materials for the town with the town logo, and we have an authorized seller for such. So if anybody was interested in any of those materials, we certainly can give them access to it. And if they were using it for any specific purposes, we could even look at possibly, arrangements for accommodating for special needs for those types of things. The next item is Shaping Gander's Next Chapter workshop. The Shorefast Institute for Place-Based Economies, August 27th, 2026. The committee discussed the town's upcoming work with the Shorefast Institute for Place-Based Economies on August 27, 2026. The initiative will bring together key community, business, nonprofit, and government partners to identify Gander's existing strengths and explore how local assets, including the international recognition generated from Come From Away, can be leveraged to create longer-term economic opportunities. Committee noted that the work is intended as an early step toward a broader vision for Gander's economic future. The workshop findings will be captured in a summary identifying key assets, shared opportunities, and potential next steps that can help inform future economic development planning and partnerships. And that's it for me, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Lidstone. That's it for the regular report. Is there any from administration?
Nothing today, Mr. Mayor.
Any correspondence? We have one piece of new business. I think Councillor Hancock is going to take that.
Sure will, Mr. Mayor. Our piece of new business was the Municipal Plan Amendment Number 7, 2025, Development Regulations Amendment Number 9. The committee reviewed correspondence from the Land Use Planning section regarding Municipal Plan Amendment Number 7 of 2025 and Development Regulations Amendment Number 9 of 2025, Housing Accelerator Fund Phase 1 amendments. During the provincial registration review, an error was identified in the Development Regulations Amendment referencing the incorrect provincial standard. As the correction is considered a substantive change to the adopted document, the Land Use Planning section has advised that Council must rescind the original approved motion and readopt the amendments with the corrected reference before registration can proceed. The committee noted that the correction does not alter the intent or substance of the amendments previously approved by Council. Committee recommends and I move that Council rescind motion number 26-072 to facilitate the correction of substantive error identified by the Land Use Planning section during the provincial registration review process.
Second.
Moved by Councillor Hancock, seconded by Deputy Mayor Pollitt. The Council rescind motion number 26-072 to facilitate the correction of a substantive error identified by the Land Use Planning section during the provincial registration review process.
Mr. A question, I guess this is new business, so. Does this have any impact on funds that we would have distributed?
No.
So the reality is the amendments were enabling legislation and development and regulation reforms to allow certain things to proceed in terms of the types of setbacks and rear yards,
Yes.
parking, and what have you. So it does have an impact in terms of there are things that, you know, require this approval to be in place before it can be permits can be issued. But it doesn't impact any of the
So like,
funds.
my concern is, we've issued, well, we haven't given it all out yet, but there's an apartment building going up on Armstrong. Does this have an impact on that apartment building and any of the funds that we've earmarked under the Housing Accelerator Fund?
No, that project would have been approved under the previous development regulations as discretionary use, so.
Okay, so this has no
Yeah,
bearing
no.
on that. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Carried.
And the second motion to that, committee recommends and I move that pursuant to sections 16, 17, and 18 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, Council approved municipal plan amendment number 7 of 2025 as corrected and presented.
Second.
Moved by Councillor Hancock, seconded by Deputy Mayor Pollard, that pursuant to sections 16, 17, and 18 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, Council approved municipal plan amendment number 7, 2025, 2025, as corrected and presented. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Carried.
And the third motion on that, Mr. Mayor. Committee recommends and I move that pursuant to section 16, 17, and 18 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, Council approve Development Regulations Amendment Number 9 of 2025 as corrected and presented.
Moved by Councillor Hancock, seconded by Councillor Abbott, that pursuant to sections 16, 17, and 18 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, Council approved Development Regulations Amendment Number 9, 2025, as corrected and presented. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Carried. That was a little bit of housekeeping, I think, more so than anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so that concludes the business for the day, so I'd entertain. a
And
motion.
Mr. Mayor, at 5:07 PM on August the 12th, I make a motion that the meeting adjourn.
Moved by Councillor Woodford, second by Deputy Mayor Pollard. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Meeting stands adjourned.
If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.
You're watching Rogers TV.
It's closing time, and you stayed out longer than you planned. So now you can't drive, and the buses have stopped running. You could always call your girlfriend. Or maybe your roommate? What about your best friend? You could just dial 1-888 Taxi Guy or use the Taxi Guy app. The call and the app are free, and they both connect you to a local cab company to bring you home safely. Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober. For 25 years, you've been helping to make our roads safer by doing the right thing. You've been the designated driver, you've stayed over, called home, you've called a cab or a friend, and planned ahead. Let's keep doing the right thing. Support sober driving by getting yourself and your friends home safely.
Do the right thing.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober.
This is Rogers TV.
The regulars, the guys who keep this place in business. Last week, they had something to celebrate. Jason had just finished university. So, they toasted his profs, his TAs, his old roommates. Well, they toasted just about everyone. But I worry about and take care of my guys. So even when I know they're not driving, sometimes that means bringing them a little surprise. And then, they had a drink to me.
Brought to you by Smart Serve Ontario and Arrive Alive, drive sober.
You're watching Rogers. This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Melissa.
Sarah.
What am I reading today?